I am in Berlin. Let's go explore. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for clicking on this video. In today's video, I'm going to be exploring Berlin and checking out all the sites that I possibly can in the next few days. Berlin is an amazing city with frenetic energy and a down-to-earth feel. There are so many historical sites to see that I'm not going to get to everything this trip, but I definitely will come back. So I hope you join me on this journey. Hope you enjoy it. If you did, and you like to see content like this, travel vlogs, informational videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And make sure you click the bell icon so you'll get noticed when I post new videos. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click the like button. It helps me out a lot. So let's get to exploring. Behind me, you'll see the Brandenburg Gate. It's probably the most famous landmark in Berlin. Got a little Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee to sit here and drink while I talk to you for a few minutes. Needed to take a rest. So the Brandenburg Gate was built in the 18th century by Frederick Wilhelm II. It was built on the site of the former city gates, and it leads on to the Unter den Linden. And a block from here is the Reichstag, which is where I'm going next. Brandenburg Gate has played a rather large role in German history throughout the years. When Napoleon entered Berlin and he came down Unter den Linden and entered through the gate, the statue you see on top, he took it to Paris. And when the Prussians entered Paris a few years later, I can't remember how many years, I think I can't remember exactly the year, 1832 maybe. I'll put it on the screen. But when they entered Paris, they just took it right back. So it's had a colorful history. During the Cold War, it was in the Soviet-occupied section of East Berlin, and it was directly next to the border with the British occupation zone. Until August 13th, 1961, citizens could travel freely between East and West Berlin, but then that's the day that the construction of the Berlin Wall started, and after that day they were no longer allowed to travel from the Soviet occupied zone into the rest of Berlin. Now I'm at the Reichstag building, which is the home of the German Parliament. It's got a pretty colorful history. It was used during the German Empire in the 18th century, up until 1933 when it was burned in the famous Reichstag fire set by the Nazis to solidify their power and invoke emergency powers to Hitler. Incidentally, if you're into history, I'm really into World War II history. I was a history major in college. My master's is history and economics. So if you're really into history, I would suggest, if you haven't done so, read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William Shirer. It was written in, I think, the late 50s, early 60s, something like that. And it's a great book to learn how the National Socialism came to power and how it fell. It's the best book I've read on the subject. Shirer goes into great detail about the Reichstag fires and how it was set by, I can't remember the man's name, but I think he was told to do so by the SA, I think. Can't remember the guy's name, but I want to say he was on the lower side of mentally fit. I mean, that can describe a lot of the Nazi leaders. But I think this guy was borderline IQ. They held a trial for him and he was convicted. I'll add, I don't remember what they did with him, but I'll add it in the what I'm editing. So So yeah, so the Reichstag was destroyed during World War II. It was pretty much left in disrepair. It was repaired enough to be not dangerous, but it was kind of left in disrepair until after reunification in 1991. And now it houses the Bundestag, which is the German parliament. During the Cold War, the East German government met in the Palast der Republik, and the West German government met in Bonn. All right, I'm at the Berliner Mauer East Side Gallery, which is 1,300 meters of the Berlin Wall that has had murals painted on it, and it's been preserved as a landmark after the fall of the wall and the reunification of Germany. If you're out this way, I would definitely recommend coming to take a look at it. It's pretty neat. The Alexanderplatz is a large public square and transport hub in the central Mitte district of Berlin. The square is named after the Russian Tsar Alexander I. According to one study, the Alexanderplatz is the most visited area of Berlin. It's a good starting point for a lot of tourists. There are many landmarks around, such as the Fernsehturm, the TV tower, the Nikolai Quarter, and the Rotes Rathaus, the Red City Hall. Alexanderplatz has an interesting history dating all the way back to the 17th century. In 1805, the Russian Tsar Alexander I was welcomed to the city on the parade grounds in front of the old King's Gate. And to mark this, King Friedrich Wilhelm III ordered the square to be renamed Alexanderplatz. During World War II, one of Berlin's largest air raid shelters was located underneath Alexanderplatz. And when the Red Army reached it in April of 1945, they bombarded the area around Alexanderplatz. The Wehrmacht had basically entrenched itself in the tunnels of the S-Bahn and U-Bahn network and flooded about 19 kilometers of the tunnels, and it killed a lot of people. In 1989, one of the largest demonstrations in East Berlin was held right here in Alexanderplatz. At the Holocaust Memorial. Honestly, I don't have the words. I don't have the words. I went through the Holocaust Museum. You know, I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Paris and I've been to the one in Dallas, and they are both moving. And I've studied this topic a lot. It's always mostly been from an intellectual perspective, not necessarily an emotional one. And walking through that memorial and going into the museum, I felt it on such an emotional level. I don't know, I can't describe it. I've seen different interpretations of what the memorial means, and to me, the columns start off low and then they get taller, and by the time you get to the middle, it blocks out the sun. It's very claustrophobic. To me, it feels like, you know, it starts off slow and then it gets, the walls close in on you and close in on you and close in on you. And I don't know, it's just, I've got to think that maybe that's sort of how the Jewish people and other people felt. They thought it couldn't get worse, it couldn't get worse, it couldn't get worse, and it kept getting worse. I don't know, that's just kind of my take. I don't know, but it was extremely moving. I'm gonna have to take a minute to digest that. If you're ever in Berlin, you have to see this. You have to see this. You do. So, okay.